Okay, good afternoon. It is my honor and privilege to be invited to this wonderful symposium and share my experiences in Seoul National University. I actually worked for director for Center for Teaching and Learning, one of the institute in SNU, for responsible for managing and delivering the online content and many types of blended learning in 2012, 13, and 14, about 3 years. And based on that experience and also updated information, it is my pleasure to provide what is going on in SNU in terms of the blended learning. The topic I'd like to say is basically a little bit overview of Seoul National University, and then what are the current status in terms of blended learning as a whole. And I'd like to make sure that what are the strategies that university did for blended learning, and what are the issues and challenges, and even future directions based on the experiences we had about 5 or 6 years ago. And then this is a campus view of Seoul National University. Some of you might enjoy coming to this university. It's a kind of huge university, relatively in Korea. And one of the reasons why I showed this picture is that we have like more than 16,000 undergraduate students, and we have 12,000 graduate students. So basically, you can guess that Seoul National University, even though we have many undergraduate students, we are like a research-oriented university as you do. So many professors did not invest much time to have their teaching. I mean, invest time and energy to have more effective teaching. So one of the key challenges is how the university is encouraging the professors to be more effective in terms of teaching. That is one challenge we have. And the other one is that as your university, we have we are now number 9 among Asian university in terms of university ranking, and about 35, a little bit up and down among the world university. So the reason why I showed this slide again, this one is it is our responsibility for SNU to be more globalized, and to be more globalized, as you see from many slides from the prior speakers, the online like book is any kind of route for our university to be more globalized, so that many audiences around the world can access to our university courses, and through that manner we would like to have more reputation around the world. So basically, the undergraduate students teaching and education, also the globalized, are the key critical issues or challenges that we have. And the reason why we put so much time and effort to blended learning is to solve those two problems in our university. And what are the current status of blended learning at Seoul National University? First of all, this is Center for Teaching and Learning. It is located exactly at the center of the university. Traditionally, it provides several different types of training programs and services to faculties and students. But recently, CTL mainly leads the blended learning, design, implementation, and evaluation at SNU. So this is the facility that we have in SNU. And then the organization, we have like many divisions, but this one, e-learning support, a little bit traditional name, but that division is responsible for many types of blended learning, online, and even book these days. So this division is solely responsible for many types of activities in SNU about the MOOC and the blended learning. And the other component we have is the learning management system. I know that your university has different learning management system. We have what is called ETL, e-teaching and learning. This is the new version of e-learning management system, basically support blended learning. So what I mean by in this presentation blended learning, one of the key area is that the professors can use these kind of LMS to have more online activities as they do teach in the classroom. So this is a key component to support the the online activities among our university courses. And basically, it has video lectures and many different types of activities and resources menus are included in that learning management system. So LMS is another key component for blended learning in SNU. And this is a current statistics of ETL. The university is very challenging the university professors to use more time for learning management system. So for your information, we have spring and fall is the regular semester, and the summer and winter is very intensive sessions. So during this spring and the fall, we have like 63% or 64%. But during the summer and the winter, we have more increased number of percentage. That means that young instructors are now participating in summer and the winter session. So during the regular sessions, about 65%, 70% of all courses are using this kind of learning management system, a very limited version and very active use of the version are included all of the percent. So just a quick glimpse of what is going on in terms of learning management system uses in SNU. 65% is quite increasing these days. And the other issue or the status is flipped learning. As you already observed several comments about flipped learning in terms of MOOC applications. So CTL is mainly responsible for implementing, supporting, evaluating, and conducting research on flipped learning. So this is a typical example of a simple version of online content, and students watch these videos before they come to the classroom, and then they solve the problems as a group in this mathematics courses. So we have like not that big number, but more than 100 courses are implemented in flipped learning, a very slow manner, but it is quite diffusing at this point. And the other aspect is that we have like which is called SNU On, SNU On. Basically, the Seoul National University has been working on developing online content around 2012 or 11 at the time. From the support of one of the key elements is that the alumni, the Seoul National University alumni, asking us to develop more online courses and then share the online courses outside the university, and then also using that online content for their teaching. So as you can see, around 2013 and up to now, we have like more than 20 courses each year developed by online tools, and then these are the websites that we have. So we have like more than around 150 courses online at this point in the campus. And then obviously the contents can be delivered through the application versions so that students can access easily as they go around campus or during the traffic time. And then one of the big trends is that the MOOC. So SNU decided to step on the MOOC, and one of the entity is the edX. I'm sorry. edX, and then as you can see in 2013, we agreed on the edX, and then we started courses 2014, about 3 or 4 years ago. And at this point, we have provided 18 SNUX courses through edX. So this is current status while we are involved in. This is another statistics, even though it is a little bit old one, but for your informations, the robotic mechanics and control, it is quite popular one. Actually, the professors came from MIT, and then he's good at English, and this is actually delivered by English. And then we have quite good audiences for part 1, and then we have like physics courses like this, about 17,000 participants. But this one is done by Korean, and English subtitle is included. So quite popular, one of the quite popular ones for SNUX in MOOC environment. And then the other initiative we are now focusing on is the K-MOOC, Korea MOOC. K-MOOC is sponsored by the Ministry of Education, government, and then the government funded us, so we involved in that K-MOOC initiative, and in 2015, we started with 2 K-MOOCs, and then up to now we have like 12 courses in the K-MOOC environment. So government funded us, and these are 2 one of the popular courses like economics and then chemistry. So let me show what is actually going on, a small video clips. So if I hope it can work very well. I try to show what is going on in the real K-MOOC, but it doesn't work so well. So let me skip to the next slide. So this is the first page of K-MOOC, so that the SNU courses are actually uploaded here and then serviced by the K-MOOC. And the other small project that I actually personally did is this kind of application or website. So this one is developed by myself, and the reason why I showed this one is that this is a kind of application website, so the students work together as a group to develop creative ideas, and then they use this website outside the classroom, so that actually in these days, the learning management system or education platform is trying to provide more diverse tools for different type of activities, but this one is kind of separate one, and then through this one, students can work together to have more creative ideas in this case. So this is another small project that I did personally in SNU. Okay, so up to now, I tried to show what is the current status of blended learning in my university as SNU, but what are the university strategies that for promoting blended learning is what I'm trying to say from now on. Obviously, the blended learning should be based on the university vision, and also the blended learning should be aligned to CTL's mission, Center for Teaching and Learning, as I mentioned before, an institute for online learning and blended learning. And I would like to emphasize this one. So we need to have a strength learning competencies of the students, and also this aspect, creative and critical thinking, is very highly emphasized in SNU. So the reason why we use blended learning, because these are the key goals that the university and the CTL is trying to achieve. So these goals are aligned to many types of blended learning. That is one of the key strategies we are trying to. And then the strategies, another one is in the aspect of the curriculum and assessment, is basically flipped learning is one of the, I think personally, is key strategy how we can be successful in blended learning, because flipped learning basically encourage interactivity among students in the classroom. So that many students and also the professors are concerning that students are so passive, even in SNU, so they try to emphasize interactivity among students. And flipped learning is kind of key route for that achieving the goals. So flipped learning curriculum, flipped learning approaches was initially developed in natural science about 4 or 5 years ago, and then it goes to other domains like liberal arts and business. So one of the reasons why I chose this part is that one blended learning model does not fit for at all. So we try to emphasize different types of models for natural science and social science, and this is one of the key strategy, especially the Center for Teaching and Learning is emphasizing. And the other aspect is formative assessment, like assessment for learning. So many types of student learning activities are emphasized through the formative assessment. So basically what I'm trying to say is that through the flipped learning, we try to have different types of models for different courses like natural science and social science. That is one key strategy the CTL is focusing on. And obviously, professional learning. I mean, the professor should be familiar with different types of the strategies for blended learning and flipped learning. So we provide regular workshops for faculty every month. We are emphasizing some kind of instructional strategies. And then one of the key areas is micro-teaching. So we like videotape professors and then have some consultation based on the based on the professor's behavior and then way of teaching. And then also we try to have a kind of faculty meeting on flipped learning and then smart learning. So rather than just delivering one-way strategies or the directions that professors can use, they work together and they share their experiences. So this is the strategies that the CTL is trying to provide for faculty members. Even though blended learning and also the flipped learning can be very effective, the other side is that students may feel tired through that new innovations. So we try to provide regular workshops for learning strategies like a self-regulated learning and even time management. And also we provide the learning counseling and some kind of mentoring so that the students are familiar with the new way of teaching and learning through that student support activities. To have a good, effective blended learning, we need to have a very nice infrastructure. And as I mentioned before, CTL is a key functioning institute for blended learning. So it has a studio for lecture video recording and many different type of facilities so that faculties can enjoy these CTL services. And then some colleges, rather than just university level, have their own centers for improving pedagogy, like GEC for engineers, and then also National Teacher Training Center for health personnel. So these two are just example of their own centers, but it is very effective, especially in case of Seoul National University. The College of Engineering is very energetic to provide online content and diverse activities, because traditionally in College of Engineering, one-way delivery lecture is the common ones, and they are now innovative to provide different types of the instructional strategies and even online content. So College of Engineering is very enthusiastic comparative to other college in SNU. And also, obviously, wireless internet on campus is very critical so that students can access to wireless internet around campus without any difficulties. So this infrastructure is key component. And hardware and software. As I mentioned before, we have a learning management system which is called ETL. It is basically Moodle-based LMS. Actually, last year, it is upgraded to another version of the learning management system so that the interface is more intuitive, and then students and professors like better than the old version. So we are now just trying to modify and then develop more advanced ones, the learning management system. And faculty and students use these learning management system, as I said before, about 65% during the regular semester, and then more than 80% during the spring and winter break, or winter sessions. And then SNU On is another entity in Seoul National University for just online lecture video. It is separated, operated. So through SNU On, many courses are developed and maintained, and these video clips are uploaded in YouTube and then linked to SNU-On website very efficiently. So these are the hardware and software that we have in SNU. One of the key area or the point I would like to make is this slide. How we have this kind of blended learning a little bit successfully during the past 5 or 6 years, because the partnership and communication among these three entities. Basically, SNU is national university, and so the government provides many types of funds like BK 21+, like it is for graduate students study program, and Creative Korea for different types of department, and then major development, and also K-MOOC. So through these different types of government-driven fund, SNU have a chance to develop more diverse online content. And the other one is the companies and NPO, like Samsung Smart Campus Project, even edX. We work together with these two entities to have more effective SNU online content and blended learning. And one of the key merit we have is the alumni. They are very critical in encouraging us, SNU, to be involved in that SNU on and blended learning, even MOOC. 2012, about 6 years ago, the alumni decided to provide a huge money for the faculty members directly. If you develop online content and then upload on the book, the professors have huge money at the time, and it continues going on. So Alumni Association is very critical in providing and then emphasizing the online content for SNU. So these three components work together to be more kind of leading universities in Korea. Even though it is a national university, we are more kind of leadership play in terms of online and blended learning at this point. And in terms of research and development, these are the instructor or the professors. But we have to have instructional designer and online content developer. So they work together to make or to develop online content and then use them effectively in the classroom settings such as flipped learning. So for instance, this one is mathematics courses. As I showed before, the students work together in the classroom. And this is for graduate students for theory of nonlinear systems. So basically, these are flipped learning approaches, and then they work together. I mean, including the instructors, to provide this kind of activities more effectively. This is a sample of the model that the mathematics courses Professor Kwon developed with the instructional designer support. It is a very simple one, but anyway, about 5 years ago, it is first adventure for the professors and the students. So, but based on their experiences, they have like a small clips, online clips before they come to the classroom, and they have different types of learning activities in the classroom, like a small group activities and whole group discussions and the mini lecture if necessary. These are the kind of the cycle that we have in the during the class, and then after the class we have a reflection sessions. So this is a simple but kind of applicable version of the instructional model for flipped learning at the time. So based on the strategies, even though it works very well, there are some issues and challenges of blended learning. There are 5 issues that I would like to emphasize about development of blended learning curriculum, and then up to technical and administrational support. This one, the blended learning, as I said before, is not one model. It should be customized and meet diverse needs of students. And sometimes online activities can be redundant in the offline activities, but it should be very aligned, not just redundant. So these are the big issues, like these students comment, because there was a mini lecture in class, I didn't need to watch video lectures. So that makes a problem for the professors. So anyway, so we need to have kind of blended learning curriculum, very different type of curriculum for different type of courses. That is one issue. And the other one is that, as I said before, through the blended learning, flipped learning, the overall workload is very high, and then we have like a passive participation and culture still in Korea. So we need to help students to be more effectively involved in this new type of blended learning and flipped learning approach. And for professional development, still like the professors good at content knowledge, but to be more effective in blended learning, they to have pedagogical knowledge and also technological knowledge. So we need to provide these two aspects to the professors. And scaling issue is another one, because we are successful in some area of the blended learning courses, but the problem is how we extend the success of the blended learning or flipped learning to other courses. So we have to think about what are the domain-specific blended learning models, as I said before, not just one, so that it can be applicable to other areas. So scaling is another issue. And also technical and administration support is another issue. So in that different types of flipped learning, we have to use many different types of smart devices, and the professors have some difficulties, so we need to provide some technical support. And then also the cooperation between CTL and other university organizations is very required, like information system technology, they work together to provide technical services. So based on that issue, what are the future directions? Let me briefly mention. First of all, we need to develop different types of blended learning, as I said before. And through that, we have to have like more seamless learning between online and face-to-face activities. And one of them that I would like to emphasize is learning analytics aspect. Through the new technology, students can be analyzed effectively so that what are the weaknesses and the strengths of each student. So the university or the courses provide more customized content to the students. So that is one issue or direction. And then also, as I mentioned, how we have more student participation in blended learning. And one of the big challenges that, as I mentioned before, the classroom culture at this point still is very passive. And through that blended learning approach, we need to have more active participation among students. That is another key directions. And for professional learning development, I would like to emphasize the community. Rather than just providing directions and strategies, the professors can meet together and then share their experiences so that more successful strategies can be developed among the faculty members. And another one is scaling. The scaling issue I mentioned again is that one of the key issue is that rather than just using their own content, like SNU content, we need to look around another content by another MOOC entities so that we use reuse and remix. Through that reuse and remix, we can scale up different types of the MOOC or the different types of flipped learning approaches in SNU. So that is one issue we have. And lastly, the technical support is another issue. One of the things that I would like to emphasize is the IR, institutional research. This is a little bit new institute in Korea. Seoul National University do not have at this point. But IR is very critical because it regularly collecting and analyzing data to examine the benefits and challenge of blended learning. This is a component of IR functions. So we are now considering establish this IR and provide effectively the online and blended learning. And also, we need to provide the consulting with students, professors in the future. Okay, that's pretty much I have in SNU. Thank you very much for your attention.